power, baby. This thing has wicked power.
And replaced the rim with an 18-inch XL rim. When it comes time to the rear end, we all want to keep that thing clean, so we've gone for the tail tidy. We took this bike to Chuck at TruTech in Kamloops to do heavier weight oil, a different shim stack, and heavier springs. I like, very nice.
I don't think that this bike is meant to compete with the Yamaha T7 by any means, but I don't think it's too far off. If they were able to improve that ground clearance.
What's up guys, it's Sam King here with Outback Motortek for another edition to our bike build videos, and today we have the all new Kawasaki KLE500. Here at Outback Motortek, we're always trying to make things better. So today, our goal with this bike was to improve the ground clearance, get a little bit more power out of it, improve the suspension, and obviously, make this thing look sick. We went for the Outback Motortek skid plate. This thing's fully frame mounted, strong as strong can be, best in the business. All right guys, and for our next edition, we have the Outback Motortek crash bars. These things are very compact, a sleek design, so you don't notice them while you're riding, and we all know those tip overs are bound to happen when you're riding off-road. You can get these in a matte black finish, or my personal favorite is this glossy green, because you all know that for those die-hard Kawasaki riders, the green finish is going to add at least 5 extra horses. When it comes time to the rear end, we all want to keep that thing clean, so we've gone for the tail tidy, which is a 2mm thick steel holder, and it just cleans up the overall look of that. It's compatible with the rear tail light and license plate illuminator. Keep an eye out because Outback Motortek will be providing pannier racks with rackless support and grab handles for this model. It's just not part of the build video. When it comes to suspension, we took this bike to Chuck at TruTech in Kamloops to do heavier weight oil, a different shim stack, and heavier springs.
All right, so this bike is currently kind of stock OEM showroom floor. Chuck from TruTech is gonna help us change this bike into something more off-roady. What do you expect?
Well, I mean, I just rode it from the trailer into here and I bounced on the suspension a little. It feels pretty typical. It basically has almost no suspension. It's just super soft and cushy. Just like every other adventure bike, just like the 390 there, just like, you know, the T7, all the adventure bikes. So that is obviously going to be able to be improved.
I think one of the best upgrades that we've done to this bike is remove the 17-inch rear wheel and installed an 18-inch rear wheel, which is going to give you a lot more options for different off-road tire choices. And it also helps to improve that ground clearance because, as we all know, this bike has a very low ground clearance. To achieve this, we kept the OEM hub and replaced the rim with an 18-inch XL rim with heavier duty spokes, which is going to allow for bigger impacts and make the bike more capable off-road. For our exhaust system, we went with the Yoshimura D-Cat header and slip-on.
This is a Yosh pipe off of Ninja 500 and we're going to put it on the KLE. We just have to do some small modifications, easy to do at home.
Which definitely brings more power, makes the bike sound sicker. And it works with all of the Outback Motortek products. Let's hear it. I like, very nice. We went for this high fender. Not only does it make the bike look way sicker, it also allows for the mud to clear itself out a lot better, because when you have that low fender, it's going to trap a lot of mud in there, and eventually if it doesn't get cleared out, it's going to start binding on your front wheel. This checky graphics design retro look is absolutely badass. I love this color scheme. You guys nailed it. Also, as always, having an aftermarket graphics kit is going to help to save the resale value of your bike. And for our rubber, we've gone for the Motors Tractionator Rail Z front and rear. Very, very capable off-road tire, but also handles totally fine on the road, and they last a long time. When riding off-road, it's very important to keep those hands safe from any trees or oncoming obstacles. So as always, we've gone for the buckbusters. This is the wraparound design, which is going to actually help to save those levers if you were to tip the bike over. If you're looking for a better turn signal, go for the Hammer LED lights. These things are unbreakable. You can hit them any direction, and they're going to be very capable off-road for those washboard moments. They're not going to rattle out. They're very strong, very sturdy. Moscow Moto R10 Reckless design. These things are super sick, nice and compact. You can fit, you know, your jacket, your sandwich, refreshments, anything you might need for a 1 to 2 day adventure. We went for the Acerbis fork protector. Not only is this going to help you prevent any scratches to your bike, which is going to help with your resale value to keep that scratch free, it also helps to tie in the overall look of the bike. I'm a big fan of that matte black finish. For our mirrors, we've gone for the double take mirrors, which is just a very simple way to be able to put the mirrors down if you're doing anything crazy, back on the highway, put it where you need it, tighten it back up, and you're good to go again. This Peak Designs phone mount is very sleek, very easy to put the phone on and off again. And basically you can orientate it in either direction as well, which just is a very handy feature. If you're asking yourself, how much moolah did we spend on this thing? The answer is $4,500 to $5,000 US dollars.
All right guys, here we are on the all-new KLE500. See how this thing goes in a little bit of an off-road situation here. A little bit of a dual track, bit of a hill. Right away, this thing has really fun power. Sounds like that classic Japanese engine just revving itself. Definitely feels like a big bike when you try to maneuver it around the smaller obstacles, but man, this thing is actually surprising me with its off-road capabilities. It's definitely a big bike. My arms are getting quite tired trying to stand up and lean into it to go up this hill. These looser rocks are what I find catches this bike off guard a little bit. Oh yeah, baby. This thing has wicked power. But one thing that is keeping me on my toes is the low ground clearance. You can hear it just smacked itself right there. So any little washouts, logs, roots, rocks, that's the stuff that I'm really kind of tentative on right now, slowing down on. But I was under the impression that this bike was more of a pavement bike, but after riding it, it's definitely capable of off-road, and just the power of it is just so fun. It's not like it's a powerhouse by any means, but just very kind of smooth linear power, a little bit dull off the very, very bottom. That's why you can hear revving it up a little bit to get the job done. Okay, let's turn this ship around and see what we can do going downhill. But guys, honestly, I was thinking that this bike was made for beginners, newer riders, or maybe people getting back into the sport after a few years off. But let me tell you, it's a great bike for that. But if you're a guy that wants to get out there and drift some corners, see some sights, it's a great bike for that too. Hey, stepped out sideways, a little bottom out there. Suspensions are definitely a little bit on the softer side for myself. A little bit wallowy there. Hey, slow down. It's definitely got some weight to it coming down this. It's not a very steep hill, but it's a bit of a gradual hill, and I can feel coming into some of those corners, slowing this big rig down is possible, but you just need to plan ahead a little bit. super fun bike. Kawasaki is getting back into the game and I'm excited about it. I don't think that this bike is meant to compete with the Yamaha T7 by any means, but I don't think it's too far off. If they were able to improve that ground clearance, spring it a little heavier, I think this bike could be one heck of an off-road animal. I can definitely feel these OEM foot pegs. It almost feels like they're actually starting to bend downwards on me from some of those bigger impacts coming up. They're also very small, which makes it feel like I'm standing on toothpicks. Very easy to fix that problem though. And that's probably a common theme for all of the adventure bikes, to be honest with you. They all want better suspension, better foot pegs, just like replacing tires when you get a brand new bike. I just love the sound that this thing makes, to be honest with you. Oh yeah, that is fun.
So to give my overall feedback on how this bike rides, you know what? It actually quite surprised me. It's a very fun bike to ride, especially on FSRs, logging roads, that type of thing. Maybe some simple dual track, but anything like single track where there's going to be obstacles that are going to catch your skid plate, that's going to be a little bit different. So very fun bike. The power is amazing. It kind of reminds me of a street bike engine. I believe it's actually the same engine that's in the Ninja 500, which just really has that classic Japanese sound to it. Very fun, comes a little bit soft off the bottom for me, but overall, very fun bike. Couple things that I would do to continue to improve this bike is a linkage kit to get a little bit more ground clearance out of it, and definitely some better foot pegs. Okay guys, that concludes our bike build video on the KLE500. Check out the rest of the channel for more exciting videos. Hit that subscribe button and drop us a comment if there's anything else you'd like us to do with this bike. Till next time, keep on robbing, baby.